Welcome. This video is to enable you to complete a questionnaire in a way that gives you the most useful picture of yourself. If you've completed any personality or role questionnaire before, you will probably have been encouraged to respond quickly to give the first answer that comes to you. This time, we are encouraging you to pause, to give yourself more time to reflect more deeply. Let me explain a bit more to help you with this reflection. You will be completing either the Type Dynamics Indicator, the TDI, or the Managing Team Roles Indicator, the MTRI, or both. And they're represented here by this tug of war. Every day we make choices based on a pull from the inside, our inner nature, and from the outside, the environment or context. What we do is represented here in between, the result of this potential tension. It is our behaviour or our role. And traditional questionnaires focus on this area by asking what you do typically or on average. But this time, the TDI questionnaire is asking you to focus on the inner you, the personality that would emerge if the environment did not make counter demands on you. Please remember that if you are completing the TDI. The other questionnaire, the MTRI, focuses on what you do in specific contexts. It can be a measure of your adaptability. And there is a further questionnaire that allows you to analyse what it would be better to do more in specific contexts, the ITPQ, the Ideal Task Profile questionnaire. But the reality is that these are not easy to untangle. The inner you is always mixed up with the person you become in different situations, and sometimes we may even believe that we are our role. So the challenge is to separate the being from the doing, and I can suggest a way to help you think about that. Imagine this is you, with an outer self, the person you show or project to the outer world, but inside there is always a part that is more private. Now let's think about your behaviour and imagine the head of the mafia walks in. How would you behave? Or perhaps a different personality walks in. Or perhaps this little girl. Each one of these is likely to elicit a different response. I call this the contextual self. It is a recognition of your adaptability. And clearly we all play several roles. And there can be many contextual selves. The MTRI invites you to describe what you do in a specific circumstance, perhaps with a particular team or a group. However, behind every role there is always a sense of who I really am. Good actors, and we are all actors to some degree, can play many roles, and I guess that Laurence Olivier never really believed he was Richard III, or Hamlet, or Henry V. And the same goes for each one of us. Behind every role we play, there is always a sense of who I really am, and I call this the identity self. This is what you are seeking to capture and crystallise when you complete the TDI. It is therefore asking you to describe your preference in spite of or behind the many contexts and roles that you play. And this can be quite a deep reflection process. You are being asked to challenge yourself, to ask yourself, is that really true? Is that really me? But your identity is not always clear, because inside everyone there is another part of us which I call the ideal self. Everybody, no matter how comfortable we are, has a little voice inside which says, but I wish I were a little more X or Y, or less X or Y. Few people quite live up to this ideal image, so your preference may become confused with who you wish to be, or even who others wish you to be, such as your parents, friends, your boss. If this is to be explored, then there is another version of the TDI designed to explore the differences between the identity self and the ideal self, and that is called the TDI is want. So please consider these points when completing whichever version of the TDI or MTRI you are being asked to complete. And to summarise, I have called this the four selves model because we need to recognise that self-awareness is always unfinished. We all have hidden depths. We could all still surprise ourselves. Imagine suddenly being in a war zone or a refugee camp. How would you react? What new things would you discover about your resilience and bravery? I call this the undiscovered self. So please use the questionnaires to explore one or more of these selves. When you have completed the questionnaire or questionnaires, you will then receive a report. The TDI gives you a comprehensive narrative with graphs covering many implications of your preferences, why you work, how you relate, what you happen to do under stress, etc. And the MTRI gives you a comprehensive description of your style and contributions to the specific circumstance you focused on when completing the questionnaire. So the questionnaire captures either personality, who I am, with the TDI, or role, what I do, with the MTRI. By completing them, you will be exploring and perhaps untangling the overlap between being and doing. And there is more information in your report, but also in these publications available on Amazon. And so I hope you're in the right frame of mind to complete the questionnaires. And this need not be the only time you complete them, since, as I mentioned, there is always more to discover. So please complete them in a spirit of exploration, and I hope you find the process and the reports useful. Thank you for listening.